Hello and welcome to episode 4, I think it is. I'm already losing track, mate. Episode 4 of the Mind Gains podcast. Today, I've got a very good friend and a client who has absolutely rattled it over the last couple of years. You'll have seen him on my stories. You'll have seen me do shoots of him. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Harry Sutcliffe is in the building. Harry, thank you for taking the time to do this.
Oh, anytime, mate. I was ecstatic when I got the invite.
Mate, you was always going to be one of the first. do you know what? The only reason you probably wasn't like one of the first, I suppose you're like the third guest I've had on, but you had your own podcast 2 months ago. So don't be greedy.
No.
Like you had like the pre-podcast podcast, you know what I mean? But no, obviously we delved into it a little bit then. You was very natural on camera. It was good, mate. And obviously we only kind of documented your prep then, didn't we? We didn't really speak about anything else too much. So first question, very serious straight off the bat. Right now, how many girls are in your DMs off the back of you being shredded?
It's not as many as when I was in prep.
Is it not? No. Is it not?
You got me in hot water with that one.
Did I?
A little bit.
Why is that?
Oh, just a little bit. I think you like cropped the clip, didn't you? And I shared it, and I got a couple of like.
Am I one of these? Am I one of these in your DMs?
That's interesting.
Lad, do you know what? As soon as I said it, I thought there's going to be a girl who thinks she's the only one here who's going to be fuming. But do you know what, mate? It just made me laugh so much when I asked you that question because I thought I'm going to upset some people here by accident, though. Do you know what I mean?
It's funny. It felt like a proper bastard doing it, but I was like, oh, it's funny. You've got you know, don't you?
Yeah, it is hilarious. But mate, listen, mate, they all when you start doing well, they all come out. Did you see that on my story this morning about my ex emailing me?
No, actually.
No, did you see it, Chris? So basically, I'm not going to name a name. She'll probably listen to this actually and send me another strongly worded email, but it's just so fucking funny. I've got her blocked on everything. I'm not going to badmouth her, mate, 'cause it's not my style, but I've got her blocked on everything, right? And off the back of my first podcast, which banged and everybody shared it, she emailed my work account to let me know how well it was doing. I know you sit there and think, none of you was asked when I was doing shit, and then all of a sudden, everyone your exes are emailing you, and I always knew you'd do well. I always knew you. But no, mate. I just thought it'd be a nice, interesting icebreaker. So what? So is that night? What's going on? You just chilled?
Yeah, kind of. Like just
focused, aren't you?
Yeah, just see what happens in regards to like bird side of things. It's like I'm very new to it. Like it's literally as of.
Can't say birds. We're gonna get cancelled here. Do you want to start this again? Can't say birds. I know it's a term of endearment, but this day and age, mate, it's a derogatory term, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So even Chris is laughing behind the camera here. No. But no, I get what you mean. To be honest, mate, it's one of them as well. I know I'm joking, but I've been the person when I was younger, I was low on confidence. Even a few years ago when I was out of shape. I'm not saying you should seek validation through the eyes of others, but you're like, ooh, getting a bit of attention here now. Getting a bit of attention. Nice. This is nice. Obviously, if Jade's listening, I don't get that anymore. You're the only girl who speaks to me before you get up, fucking kick off when I get home. Which she will, mate. She'll be listening to this. Before when you said, I'll be getting that when I get home. Girls, you DM. But no, mate. So obviously, we absolutely twatted last year. We smashed your photo shoot last year. But without getting too deep off the back of a funny question, what the fuck are you doing with that phone? What are you doing? Sorry, for anyone who's listening on audio, we've got Chris behind the fucking camera, and he's just like videoing loads. Over what? Content, all right. Brought him some Ferrero Rocher as either a late 2022 Christmas gift or an early 2023 one. But no, as I was saying, like, we not to take it down a notch to like something that was. We don't want to go from like a dead funny opening to something that's fucking grim, but like obviously me and you've known each other. I'm gonna say we've known each other longer than 2 years because we were interacting on Instagram and shit, weren't we?
Yeah, a little bit.
Do you know what makes me laugh? I've got a few guests who I want to get on. Obviously, you're one I've got on, and except for Nathan, I don't know how the fuck I know any of them. Like I don't know how because I was on about obviously getting a couple of others on before. When I sit there and thought. Yeah, this is where I've known you. I think, how the fuck have we actually met you? And with you, you're one of them because I don't know who followed you. Like I followed you or you followed me. I don't know how it happened, but when you were when you was sitting there and you DM me which is coming up to 2 years. What position was you in at that moment in time? Like, where was you? Just where was you, mate? Like, mentally, physically, like...
Not in a good place, honestly. And like I said, I don't want to like bring the tone completely opposite way, but like that was just that's just the hard truth of it. I wasn't in a good place mentally, physically. Like physically, I wasn't in god awful shape. I've been in worse shape, and I think you agree that I was like in a bit of a mid ground. It didn't look great, but it didn't look.
It wasn't that
terrible.
bad. You was okay, yeah.
Yeah, but like I felt like I was looking my worst, and like I was just really not in a good place. And I think, like you said, we'd been interacting a little bit for like probably a couple of months. Just like I think you'd been putting stories up, and I'd like them or like send a reaction to some bollocks like. And then I think you put a poll up. It was probably a poll, and I voted on the poll because I wanted to DM you about it, but I'd just shit it every time. I'd find the reason not to.
It's so interesting that, mate, because that's why I do those polls.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people who I know, like, which for me is backwards, because if I wanted someone, I just, like, message. For example, when I wanted to sign up Chris, I just messaged him. But a lot of people are too nervous to kind of go, because you sit and you go to send a message and go, how do I say this?
Oh, I think I thought myself out of it 100 times, and that was it, and that was just the thing of it. So the poll was the perfect in a way. It was like, just vote on this, and I'll, as in you were like, I'll DM you, and I was like, you know what, that's perfect. Did
you, right, here we go, we're fast forwarding a bit now, and we'll bring it back, but mate, like, you were one client, and I think one thing that's good about me and you is I discussed this on, I think it was on Nathan's episode, where you've got to find, like, not only your coach, but people who are for you, but you've got to find a coach who's kind of for you.
Yeah.
And you've probably started realising that now as you've become a coach, that some people just flourish under your guidance, and some people it's just not for them. Do you know what I mean? So, but I think one thing me and you've got nailed is our relationship's just fucking boss, innit? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like, I sit here now and I don't think like I've got a client sat here. I just think I've got Harry sat here. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I don't think like that's what's good, mate. Like 90% of like, you fucking hell, we've come on here, mate. 90% of it's been a piss take so far. Do you know what I mean? But like 90% of the time we have a laugh, and then the other 10% is like, right, mate, business. And I think that's just why it works so well, because it's not too serious and the work gets done. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
But again, sorry, not to fast forward too much. You have absolutely smashed it, mate. Like, what you did, like, the amount of people who speak to me about it in terms of, like, the shape you got into, like, you'll be shocked, actually. I wish, like, I could fucking, like, I wish I noted down if people spoke to me, because the amount of people who spoke to me, like, from how well you was doing. Did you expect to do that well?
No. Absolutely.
Like, what did you come into this expecting?
Just like the bog standard kind of what everyone does, just wanted to see if I'd start feeling a bit better about myself, and I'd probably get in a bit better shape, and it was like I might start, you know, liking my body a bit more, and that was it. It was like we'll just see, because I won't think on it too much, but I had one coach before you, and I wouldn't badmouth him because it was a really good like experience. We worked well together, but it just reached a natural end where we just weren't gelling. Yeah. And then I'd come across you, and I was like, I don't want to say like seeing similarities, but I was just like, I just clicked. I hadn't met you; it was just over Insta. And I was like, fucking boss him. I was like, I'd love to have him as a mate. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Have him as a coach, and then it just
that's the thing though, because it's like you've kind of got to have that, and like I know me and Chris like take the piss 99% of the time, but I know for a fact, mate, like he completely looks after me, and I know full fucking well that I look after him, lad. He'll tell you that I don't send clients his way. Like, do you know, I've lined his pockets, mate, so much over the last couple of years, and he'll make out that I've not. Do you know what I mean? But it is important to have that friendship as well. Of course it is, because when it feels too much business, I'm not gonna lie, mate, I fucking hate it. Like when I speak to clients, and it's just, I'll pop up to clients through the week and just go, how are you getting on? And all they do is like go, like Chris said it before, why is everything business? Why is everything like the whole thing? Someone could have just gone, like, I love it when clients turn around to me and go like, yeah, fucking I watched this last night. Oh, any good? Just like, random, I'm going here on Friday. Like, all right, Sam, what you getting? And it's just, that's kind of the way I like it to go, because you don't want it to be business too much. You still want to be like friends and stuff, but it's, no, things can come to a natural end with anything though, mate. Like whether it's outgrowing people, whether it's outgrowing jobs, your coach, like whatever it is, things can kind of conclude and you go, I need to move on here. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like I need to evolve. Like I've been reading David Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me.
I've got that. I haven't started it yet.
Harry, read it. It's a belter, honestly. Have you read that, Chris? Oh, mate, belter. Absolute belter. But there's a part in it, I read it last night, I've got about 60 pages to go. There's a part in it where he says, don't just like try and excel in one area, like, because otherwise, like, you won't grow. Like, we're on about outgrowing there. Yeah. Like, he's saying, like, because he was on about, he was a Navy SEAL, but then after Navy SEALs, he'd go and do, like, ultramarathons, he'd go and do, like, recruiting, he'd go and do this, he'd go and do that. Yeah. And I think that's one thing you've kind of got to do, where you've got to venture out. So you've turned around there and gone, I can't outgrow him, and then I looked at you and gone, right, well, that's it. And that takes on to other things, because, like, as we discussed it, like, when you was like, I just wanted to get into a bit better shape, that fits into perfectly what I've just said. Like, you got into a better shape, and then you go, right, well, I'm going to push for a fucking photo shoot now. Yeah. Right, well, I'm going to push to be an online coach now. I'm going to push for, and things just go. And do you know what? If people want to just get to a certain position and they're happy, mate, I'm fucking happy for them. Like, it's, everyone's got their own perception of happiness, and everyone's got their own, like, not, I won't say limit or spectrum, but they've got their own ideology of, I'm happy here. And do you know what? If you wake up every day and you're fucking happy with your position, you've got life nailed. Yeah. But for someone like me and someone like you, like, it's, in a way, it's quite, not sad, but, like, I will never be happy. Like, I've constantly got to struggle and I've constantly got to chase. And I think that's kind of where you've excelled, because it was like, right, how are you in good shape? What about a photo shoot? Yeah, cool. And then we did that, and it was like, right, Harry, we did that photo shoot. Do you want to start another one next year? You're doing well, why don't you become an online coach? Yeah. And then now we're talking about maybe doing like a show in a year or so. But that's where, like,
it's just like the natural progression of it, I guess.
Yeah, mate, of course it is. Of course it is. So obviously with that, mate, like, when I kind of turned around to him, was like, what about a photo shoot, lad? I reckon you can look sick here, mate. Like, what was going through your head at the time? You nearly shit out.
I did.
You nearly shit out, mate.
I
remember you saying.
Shit it. I remember where I was and everything. Like, I think it was coming up to a bank holiday, and I'd told you, I was like, oh, I'm going out this weekend. You're like, yeah, sounds. So I checked in early, I think, because of it. And then I'd been out, and, like, I was on the way home the next day, and, like, you voice noted me, and you're like, hey, just at the end of it was like, you know, what a photo shoot, and I was like, and I replayed it like 3 times. So I was like, did he just fucking what?
Yeah.
Did he just say photo shoot?
Mate, I'm a master psychologist, me, mate. Yeah. Like, I just slip things in.
No, it caught me off guard, lad, and it was just very strange, because I was like, it was for you to suggest it. It was like, why have you got that belief in me that I can do that? Yeah. So, like, it caught me off guard, and then I think I sat on it for about 3 weeks, didn't I? I think I'd and ahed on it, and we'd back and forth a little bit, but you didn't really push the issue with it. You'd just be like, every now and then, what you're thinking, and then I just come to a place where I was like, well, you've done this well so far with him, as in with you. It's like, you're doing better than what you thought you would. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, you either try and get in a better shape, or you try and you nail it. Like, it's a plus to side to both, isn't it? And that's one thing, mate. Like, you'll never realise how much you are capable of, and that's what I try and get across to people. Like, for people listening, like, you've just said there, I didn't expect to come this far. 2 years ago, mate, you wouldn't expect to be sat here on this conversation with Absolutely being a coach yourself and everything else. And I've said it on previous episodes. You just kind of, if you just work hard and attempt to be the best version of yourself, shit just happens. I wish I had, like, a scientific backing to how it happens, but I don't. You just stumble into stuff, and, like, opportunities arise, and I just think it's a way that naturally you just get rewarded, and you unlock other parts of your life by working hard. Do you know what I mean? And that's one thing I don't think you realise, mate, to be fair. Like, you're only 25. People will be listening to this, probably think, like, looking at you, probably thinking, lad, do you want to know something? Lad, I thought he was older than me. Is that Tash?
The amount of times
Tash, lad?
Yeah, everyone. I've had mid-30s, early 30s, like, consistently. And I'm
for a while, I was like, how old is he? But I thought, I've known him too long to ask. And then it just come out, and I was like, how the fuck is he 3 years younger than me? He's got a fully grown beard and a mustache and everything. Like, what's going on here?
All of this only come on as of, like, the last couple of years, though, lad. I was a late bloomer with it all, mate.
But, mate, that's kind of what I want to get to. Like, you fucking still so young at 20. I know I'm talking like I'm 50 and I'm only 28, but, like, you're still so young. Like, lad, me at 25, like, you have accomplished 2 photo shoots. You've become an online coach. You've got all these things that are going for you. And one thing I will give you is you don't understand how low the success rate is of PTs and coaches. One of my mates has recently started trying to do a PT course, and he found out that 95% of PTs fail.
Yeah.
So 1 in 20 of us succeed. So for you to be sat here with clients, pushing yourself, mate, it's like a big fucking deal. Like you need to know that as well. But this is such an interesting question. It popped into my head about 5 minutes ago, and I've been waiting to angle it, and this is the perfect angle. Because I know it's happened to me, and I know it's happened to Chris, and I know it's happened to other people who've done well. Have people changed around you since you started like pushing yourself to be better? Have people started being weird? Have people been like, oh, Harry's fucking changed? Or have you not noticed it yet?
I've not properly noticed it yet, I guess, but like probably a little bit. It's more I've changed. I know I've changed.
Yeah, you have.
It's all been for the better. So I'm really not bothered if like I've changed in the fact that I'll clock bad behaviours and I'll clock shit that I really don't like, or like the old me would have just been like, I'll just shy away and not deal with that. So it's probably more me that's changed as of the moment. Yeah, it's like obviously things are doing well, and I class that like my online as success because I've got clients. Yeah, I'm not at the stage where I'm absolutely hammering it and I can leave my job and be pursuing it.
You're not far away.
I will get there. Yeah, it'll take some time, but I'll get there. So maybe when I get to that point, people might change a little bit. Yeah. But like to begin with, it was like when I was venturing into it, it's like you know what it's like. You've got mates, like the boys, they just take the piss because they're your boys. They love you, and it's just how they show it. Yeah, and that's fine. And to begin with, there was a little bit of that, and then when they kind of said it was like, serious. He's actually serious about this. He's actually doing his photo shoots. He's done well. He's actually looking at doing a comp. He's done really well with them. Yeah. Like there's less taking the piss and more like genuine, like, oh, you're doing well here.
Well, they're good mates. Yeah. They're good mates. Like, if they were like taking the piss and then they just didn't speak to you, then that's just like, well, you've learned there. Do you know what I mean? But they're really good mates, and they're fucking hard to come across because the amount of times when you start, it's weird, such a weird thing. Like as soon as you start like trying to do well for yourself, people fucking hate it. People fucking hate it, mate. Like it's so weird. Like it's like when you first start, like, oh, I'll support his little venture. Yeah. Just to see that and then when you start smash it, they're like, I don't like this. People are like that, mate. Like I had people who would like share my stuff at the beginning of me being a PT. Lad, now they don't even fucking look at me. Yeah. I can see them in the gym. They don't even look. They don't talk. Not they don't say hello. They literally walk past me, lad, like I'm a fucking invisible. Like I'm invisible. Like I'm just a cloud of smoke, and they just walk past me. It's bizarre, and it's so weird that people can be. I'm not saying people can be intimidated by it, but like. I listen to people who are smashing it. Like I mentioned before, like I've got I don't want to fucking spoil it too soon, but I've got a barber who's coming on who's absolutely smashing it, mate. Like he cuts hair for like Premier League footballers and like you know, the fucking rapper. Lad cuts his hair, goes to his studio. So I just turned around and was like, lad, you'd be fucking boss on a podcast. Get on. Like, and I'm going to sit here and ask him questions that I want to know and go like, how have you done this? Because from a business but other people would be like, yeah, fucking hell, I remember when he was small, look at him now, thinking he's something big. It's so draining. It's so fucking draining, lad, do you know what I mean? But you can't listen to people like that. Because if you listen to people like that, mate, if you live your life to, especially those types of people, if you live your life to please those types of people, you're just never going to grow. Because your ability to grow and your like tenacity to get better, it makes people feel uncomfortable. Definitely. Because you're threatening their comfortable. Yeah. Like their ideology of what comfortable is. Do you know what I mean? But with that being said, mate, like, what's next? Where do you go from here? Obviously, we've had. I wish there was a way for us to drop. I might actually be able to do it, like on the video file. Put a couple of your pictures up because your pictures are fucking nuts, mate. Like how good they look. But like, obviously, we've discussed obviously a couple of photo shoots and stuff, and they're all really well documented. People can see it on my Instagram and your Instagram as well, which obviously I'll drop in the description for people to see. But what's next, lad? Because do you know what? Like, loads of people ask me when I compete, I'd fucking happily never do it again. Yeah. I'd happily never do it again and just focus on this and clients and stuff. So, we've all got our own race and our own course. Like, what's next for you, bro? Like, what are you thinking?
in regards to like a goal-wise, something to do, because I think it does help for me having something penciled in down the line. It's going to be a show, and I never in a million years would have thought I'd ever say that with chest and mean it. You know what I mean?
Lad, you meant that then. A show.
I am going to do a
Come
show.
out here. It's like he's on the WWE there,
bro. I mean, we'll probably sit at some point and discuss what like the proper ins and outs of it. But that, in regards to like what next physically to chase, it's that.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, mate, like you weren't fucking far away from, like, I'm not being funny, the physique that you brought to the photo shoot that we did with Chris like a couple of months ago, lad, there was people at the show that I did who you'd have bladdered. Yeah. And I don't mean that in a nasty way to them, but like I don't think you realise like the quality of your physique, and you won't, because like when I was doing it, I was like, oh, could be lads, you look better than me. And then when I got to the show and looked back, I'm like, I was miles better than everyone. Yeah. Don't mean that in like a nasty way, but like, because you're yourself in your own circle and you're so like self-critical. You're
just hard on yourself.
Yeah, like, you're very hard on yourself. So what are we thinking, bro? Like a year's time?
I think when we did the last one at the end of the shoot, I was like, 2024. But like, I've not got like a set where I want to, but in my head, I'm thinking,
God, it could be like this year.
End of 2024, 25, start of.
Nah.
But again, I think we're going to we'll chat about it properly.
Bro,
I think.
If we get up
and
to
you'll
like,
probably tell me, no, you're doing it then. And I'll go, okay, Jay, and
yeah,
then we'll do it.
Well, the thing is now is like, I think you've eventually got to kind of like bite the bullet. Do you know what I mean? You've said something there which is very interesting, and I kind of want to see your verdict on this. Like you said, I want to get something penciled in.
Yeah.
Do you feel like when you've got something to aim at like that, and this is like something that I try and get across to people, where like motivation follows action, not the other way around. Yeah. Like you've got to do it to feel motivated. Like you're never going to feel motivated just to get up off your ass. Like you've got to kind of bite the bullet, haven't you? Like, do you feel like you're fucking mega productive when you've got something in line?
Absolutely.
Like, bro, at the moment, I feel like a fucking machine. Yeah. Like, I'm literally been up this morning at 6 a.m. doing cardio. I'm in here at you at 10 a.m. like getting all this done, and the day just flies by when I've really not got anything to aim for. Just like, just get up and waltz.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like for people listening, like not tips, but like try and put it into perspective. Like you've done it, because obviously I've spoke about it 1,000 times, but from a client perspective and from you as well, like what do you think, like if you could put it into perspective for people about actually getting out and getting shit done, like what would you say there?
I'm trying to think how to word it, but like absolutely in regards to like you just everything feels better, you're more productive. I was like a lot more happy. It was weird because like in prep for the shoot, although at the end you end up feeling in a way you're worse because you just run down knackered.
Yeah.
It's like the best, it's the most productive I've ever been and ever will be, because I'm like, I've never been like before getting on with yourself, goals wise, didn't have any. I wouldn't set them. I was just like, it was this alien thing that I never, no one had ever been like, oh, well, why don't you try and do that? Like, it was just, everything was just in like a big whirlwind, and I was just kind of going on just to go on, like you're saying. It was just weird. It was like you just, every day molds into one and you're just doing the same shit. And it's just like, I'm like, you're just cracking on. You're just like breezing through, and there's no end sight. There's a little bit of pressure on yourself can go a fucking long way.
Oh, yeah.
But like in the right way, in like, not the right nurtured way, but like there's pressure on yourself where it's like a goal like that. And then there's pressure on yourself where you're just being fucking hard on yourself and beating yourself up for no reason. And you're just finding every little thing that you think's wrong with you, and you're just hammering yourself. Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
That before.
That's a lot of people though, in it these days.
Yeah. It was me for the longest time. It was just everything I didn't like about myself was just constantly up in my head. Yeah. 24/7. And that's still something that I'm working on today, and I probably will be working on for a long time because I've always struggled with it, but I've got better. And that's the premise of it, is I'm better than what I used to be. What
have you been doing to like get better at that? Because there'll be people who are listening to that going, fucking hell, that's me right now listening to this. So like what you, I know we've worked together, like, but like there'll be a lot of shit you've done behind the scenes that I don't really know about. Do you know what I mean? Like, what have you been doing to kind of manage that and get better with it?
Just learning what I say resonates with me. Everyone's a bit different, and you'll find stuff where you'll realise that you go, I like how I feel when I've just done that. Yeah. And like, I've started to be a lot more honest with myself and just the people in my life, and being like, I'll communicate a lot more versus previously I was very like, I'd just be quiet and I wouldn't, not make a comment, but if someone was to ask me like, oh, what's your honest opinion of this? I wouldn't give them my honest opinion.
You'd give me dishonest opinion.
I would give them the opinion of, I think this is what you want to hear.
Yeah.
So I'll give you that. And it's like, I can relay stuff now in a way where I'm like, it's not that you're coming across funny or anything. It's like, if you want my honest opinion, I'll give you the respect enough to give you my honest opinion.
And do you know what, mate? That is such a good trait because you don't know how much that'll help people. I had a conversation with a girl about 2 weeks ago who I won't name in case she just doesn't want me to mention her name, like, but she popped up to me and she used to be a PT and she was on about, she was asking me for like bits of advice and I'm thinking about getting back into a PT and blah, blah, blah. Or like getting back into me, get back into me fitness just for like myself just and like to help other people. And to be honest, like she is good at it. And that's what I said to her. But I've seen her try and do this like 3 times in the last year.
Yeah.
And probably what she wanted to hear, and she might have got it from her friends, they were probably like, yeah, you do really well. And I just turned around and went, listen, I think you can do well, but you cannot expect to inspire people when you can't even inspire yourself.
Yeah.
I was like, I've seen you try and do this 2 or 3 times. And she started disagreeing with me. Harry, I went down her Instagram page and screenshotted 3 separate dates.
Yeah.
And went, you tried this last year, you're trying it again today. I said, don't lie. I said, like, I'm being honest with you.
Yeah,
I think you can do well. But this, and the next day, she literally popped up to me and was like, I fucking needed to hear that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, mate, you've got to be cruel to be kind. Because
definitely.
if you have people, if you have a load of yes men and yes women and yes people around you who are like, yeah, you're doing well. Sometimes you need someone to go, pull your fucking shit together.
Yeah.
Get your fucking shit together because you were better than this.
Yeah.
And I say it to so many people. I say it to my family. I say it to my mum loads. Say it to my girlfriend. I say it to friends. Like, you're fucking better than this. Like, why are you going through this? And like, if I just turn around and was like, oh yeah, it'll get better, don't worry. What the fuck does that solve? Do you know what I mean? So no, it's a good trait to kind of have, mate. Just to be honest with people. But yeah, in terms of like managing and becoming better within yourself, mate. Like you said before, it's something you've got to work on. I still have to work on it.
Every single day. It's literally every single day. And it's like, I think Nathan said it on your one. It's like you just take each day as it comes. I have days now still where I'll just feel like shit. And it's like, don't really know necessarily why sometimes. But it's like, you know what, I'm going to experience this emotion in a way. It's happening. Don't try and just dig it down and like not address it.
Yeah.
Be in it for a little bit. Have 5 minutes if you need 5 minutes. And then crack on.
Get back at it,
Get back on it.
But it is a work in progress, mate. Like, it's one of them things where I know it sounds very deep, but that's life. Yeah. Like, you're constantly adapting and learning and trying to become better in certain areas. And like, people will probably watch me, and obviously people who are close to me will know, but like, I suffer quite badly with like a few different things. Like, I suffer with like Imposter Syndrome extremely badly. Right. So basically, where like, lad, I'm sat on this podcast with you, and then I'll sit there and go, why the fuck have I got a podcast?
Yeah.
Who are you? Like, you're a kid from a council estate who had fuck all growing up. Yeah. Who the fuck is going to listen to you? And you start feeling like a fraud. You start replaying that too much. And that's something I deal with. And like, we've all got our own insecurities. We've all got our own problems. And like, I think that's one thing that would be great for people to listen to. Because they'll hear me and everyone, because I constantly put on social media, like, up and at it, smashing it, won't be at work, that type of shit. And they probably think, he's not got a problem, he's on top of everything. Bro, I'm wrestling with my mind every single fucking day. Yeah. And like you've said as well, people probably look at you and go, oh, fucking look at Harry. Harry's absolutely smashing it. Looks great. He's a much better person these days. He started his own business. There's not a single problem in Harry's life, but there is. Like, you've kind of, you know what I mean? I think that's like such a good thing as well, bro. Like, people will be listening to this now, who like probably feel like they're on their own, and they'll be going, fuck me, 2 lads who are doing well here. They talking about
before.
They felt like that now. They feel like this right now.
They still experience.
Do you know what I mean? And you've kind of just got. There's something powerful, mate, about just get on with it. Something powerful about like get to work. I think. Whereas like you said before, like motivation follows action, not before. So like, sounds shit, mate. Like the worst thing in the world. Like, say if you go, oh, I need to start sorting myself out, and then you get yourself up at 5 a.m. to like go to the gym, and then like you're doing it and you feel shit when you do it, but then afterwards you're like, fuck me, I'm glad I've done that. And then like you put a bit more effort into your work or your hobby, and you go, fuck me, like I'm getting better at this. This is great, and motivation follows that. Then, do you know what I mean? And I think that is like something that people.
It started in a way, like, there's one thing I struggled with is to give yourself, I don't know if it's like give yourself credit, or I probably won't be able to word it very well, but like, if you're good at something and people are telling you you are good at something, if enough people are saying it, you're good at it.
Yeah.
Like, there are a bunch of yes men about, and like that'll always be the case, and you get people that don't want to hurt your feelings or whatever. But if enough people are saying it, and you're doing the action, and you're getting certain results from it, whether it's in your job or with your training or with your nutrition or with anything, you're good at it. Give yourself that, like, all right, don't like pat on the back and like, oh, I've smashed it and now I can take my foot off the gas. You're good at it. Like in my actual job, like I'd like, I guess, imposter syndrome in a way, because I was like, I just felt like I was so out of the loop and working with these people who were so experienced, and they were teaching me and I didn't know a fucking thing. And then from these experienced people, it was like, hey, you know, you've kind of got something here. You're actually really taking this on board. You're quite good. I've never seen someone take to it as quickly as you, and you're thinking, oh, they're just being nice. And then it's like a different person I've never met says it.
Yeah.
And a different person you've never met says it. And it's like, all right, okay, there must be a little bit of truth to it.
Yeah, all these people lying.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
It's like, there's a pattern there.
Yeah.
And it's in yourself. You kind of have to go, well, you know what, I might actually be doing all right at this.
Yeah.
So give myself a bit of credit. I'll carry on with it.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one thing where, like, I do think I've got a really good circle, and I don't think I've got yes men, to be honest with you. But one thing I do love is like not people who are outsiders, but people who are far enough out of my circle that when they compliment me, it's from a genuine place of you're doing fucking well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if enough people are saying that, mate, you are doing well. Do you know what I mean? And it is handy to know that. But it's so easy to kind of get in your own head and go, like I said before, like, how the fuck is this happening to me? And do you know what I mean? That's such a tricky thing to wrestle with, because it's 24/7, innit? And you're constantly trying to like deal with your own issues.
Yeah, trying to like escape your own head sometimes.
Yeah.
Is like it's very tricky. As like, I don't know whether you necessarily have like struggled with mental health before, because I don't know you personally from years ago.
Yeah.
But I know you quite well through the years we've
Yeah,
worked
yeah,
together.
yeah.
You've been through some shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you've struggled mentally before, you wouldn't ever wish it on someone, but
No.
you can't understand it unless you have been through it in a way.
Mate.
It's very tricky.
Mental health, you've got to feel it.
Yeah, to know.
You can't talk people into mental health.
No.
Like, I've had that much trauma, and you obviously, like you said there, like, I opened up about my story. It's now well documented. I did a full fucking 45-minute episode about it, like, first episode. It's well documented. I have had a lot of trauma. I don't know whether you ever have, like, you've been through like life experience stuff. You can feel free in a second to like fucking chime in and say I've been through this and whatever. But like, mate, I remember like when people lose someone, like if they lose their dad, they lose whatever, I always just go like, listen, I have been where you are.
Yeah,
and it's so important to have someone around you who has felt like that.
Can be relatable in a way.
But mate, like I remember, I still to this day don't know what they were, but like I started getting them, well, I've not said this to anyone, but started getting them again last year. Didn't have them for like 4 years. And I looked it up and it was kind of like, I think it was called derealization. Like when I looked, but this is Google diagnosis, so it's as good as me and you trying to fucking guess it from here, do you know what I mean? I've never had it looked at, but it's kind of something that stems from like a panic attack to like an anxiety attack. But basically I'd sit there, I'd be like dead short of breath, and like I didn't know where I was, and it would just happen, and it's like something would wash over me, and I'd have to go in a quiet room. Mate, there's been times when I've been in a living room with me mates, and like when it's happened, I've literally like put like I've like gone, I pretended to like go asleep and like put a pillow over my face. I've been like this, and I've just been like that, like fucked, and like I wouldn't wish that on anyone because you can't. It's so difficult to control. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's so important to kind of like get that across to people that like there are, well, like you said, there are people who have been through it and are going through it. So it's so important to kind of like have those people around you or speak to those people, obviously, because like mental health, mate, it's like it's not it's not as easy as physical health. Like
No,
I always say,
you can treat physical health.
Yeah.
You can see it very clearly. That's
Yeah.
your issue. That's the problem. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
You can't see mental.
a broken leg's a broken leg.
Yeah, yeah. There's a process.
Yeah, this and
Just
this.
Follow these steps. It's going to fix
Yeah.
itself. Then we're going to do that.
Like if you've got problems, like say if you have got massive anxiety or you've got like things in your family that like runs with like depression. Like I've got a mate and it's like his family like has depression that runs in. Sorry, he has depression running through
Like
his family.
Yeah, yeah.
And even he goes like, mate, I can't get rid of it. He's like, I do my best. I box a lot, stay active, keep myself around good friends. Got a girlfriend. He said, but
it's still
I know every so often I've got to fight that beast.
Yeah, yeah.
And he said, he just can't get rid of it. He said, it's just a chemical imbalance, or he said, it's just something I suffer with, my dad suffer with, my granddad suffer with. He said, but I know how to control it kind of better.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to kind of go, oh, that, right, cool. Well, you've got to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
This much rehab, you'll be sound in 12 weeks.
Yeah.
So
I think that's, sorry to cut you out, I think that's a big part of it is understanding that actually, I think for 99% of people who do experience, you're never going to get rid of it.
No.
It's never going to go.
No.
You just get better at dealing with it and you know what works for you, and it is a completely individual like thing to the person that it's happening to. It's like your similarities of like, oh, when I get depressed, I'm a bit like this, or when I get a bit low, I'm like this. Oh yeah, I'm a bit the same. But how you deal with it is that's your own. You have your own ways of doing that.
So how do you deal with it? Sorry to put it on you like that, but like people will fucking benefit from it.
Now I've slowly learned to open up a little bit.
Yeah.
Not too much, but again, better than what I used to be. So I give myself credit for that. And it's been in a place of where I'm like, I'll only open up to certain people about certain things, and there's still a lot of things that I've not spoke to anyone about. And, you know, whether I will or won't in time, that's just one of those things. I'd like to get to a place where I will, but I'm just not there yet. And it is what it is. But like, so like, you know, Jack, obviously.
Yeah, Jack Wild.
Yeah. So like, even like, mate,
I wonder when I fucking wondered when he'd come off.
He's such a shit sometimes. He's such a gobshite, but I love him. I love him to death. But like him and like a couple of the other lads, and I'll just, if something's bothering me, I'll talk about it with them.
Yeah.
It tends to be when I'm training, because I see Jack a lot because I train with him.
Yeah.
And it's during those things. It's like if something's proper bothering me, I'll find a way to either get it in conversation, or I'll just be like, I'll just drip feed it a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's just
see how they react.
Yeah, it's just having someone there to listen to it a little bit and give a little bit of advice. And it's not like, I'm telling you what to do. It's just, you just need to find a way of just offloading, because it used to just be training for me, and that worked up until it wasn't enough. Yeah. And then it was like, I would just internalise and bottle up. You all right, Has? Yeah, fine. And I've got fucking back of my head's blowing out with all the shit that's going on. Yeah, no, I'm fine. Yeah. So I've just started to slowly, like, it's communication, I guess, like just communicate a bit better. And like a pick and choose who I do it with. Yeah. Because like there's certain things where it's like, oh, if I were to say that to my mum, she'd worry. Don't want to, you don't want that. No. Like you don't want that. And sometimes it's one of those things where it's not something you need to worry about. No. It's just what I'm feeling at the minute. And I just want to, you know, like let someone know. So it's finding, with me, it's like it would be someone in like your friendship group, if like your boys or your girls or whatever. It's kind of like, I know it's like such a stupid analogy, but it's kind of like peeking your head out of a door. Yeah. And then like, when you realise like, oh, it's not, and then you slowly just open it more and more. I'm not going to get my head taken off of you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank you. That's such a thank you. That was like the missing fucking piece to what I was trying to say then. Like you're peeking your head out and you're like, oh fucking hell, I've not died here. I've not been fucking bitten off, and then like, oh well, if that's okay, then maybe this is okay. And before you know it, the door's fully open. Like I don't want to tell too much of a story, but like my missus, fucking mate, she's amazing. Like what she does, she's so fucking great. But it's like she's been going to counselling for like a year and a half, and a lot of it at first was about like me and her and how she was in a relationship and stuff. Because not that she was like bad with me and her, but she was very anxious. Like she always thought I'd leave eventually and stuff like that. But like now it's other stuff that she's like kind of conquering with her past and with herself. Yeah. And at first, mate, like people who are listening to this will know, like when you're living with someone who, I'm not going to say like it's so much a mental health thing, because we've never really sat down and discussed the mental health. We've kind of just discussed like what she's doing around. Yeah. And but like for me as well, like you kind of sit there and you're like, fuck me, like I just want to help you. Do you know what I mean? I just want to.
But then it's
Let me
draining
know
when
what I can do.
it's draining for you both.
Yeah,
Because you're sitting there going, oh fuck me, like just let me help you.
Yeah.
And then she's sitting there thinking, no one can help me.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh my god. And then recently, mate, like I'd always go, how's your day been? And like she'd ask me, mate, I'd document from the minute I put my socks on to the minute I got home. Like, right, well I did this, just talk.
Well, I got a story for you.
Yeah, talk about shit. Don't mate, I can make a shit day sound great because I just talk. Yeah. Whereas she could have a horrendous day. How's your day been? All right.
Yeah, it's been fine.
And I go, all right, yeah, that's it. 14 hours I've not seen you for. All right, that's what sums everything up. And now she's slowly started telling me, well, this has happened at work and this has happened with my family, blah, blah, blah. And mate, she's just fucking miles better.
Yeah.
Like it is hard, mate, because in your own mind, especially like when you are alone a lot and you're alone with your thoughts, and then you kind of convince yourself that you're the only person who can deal with it. But just like you've said before, like you work with God knows how many people who have probably been through similar things, and do you know what? One thing's impressed me, mate, with how well you've just like explained everything, like what the analysis you've just given, mate, spot on. Like that's why I shut up then for like 5 minutes. I was like, this is fucking great, like listening to this. But like, for people to just like you say, offload little bits of problems. Don't give me 100% your problem straight away.
Yeah, don't give me
5%.
Yeah.
And then when you feel comfortable with 5, give me 10.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you're at 50, 60, 70, 80. Before you know it, everything's transparent.
Yeah.
And the problem shared's a problem halved. Sometimes it doesn't need to be productive. Sometimes just fucking whinge.
Just telling someone, just offloading.
And then bang, just get it out. And then all of a sudden it's just feel better now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And an important thing with it, I guess, is like sometimes that'll happen and it's like, again, like experience the emotion. You might do it and talking about stuff. You'll get emotional, you'll get upset, you'll cry, or you'll get angry, or you'll, whatever it will be when you're talking about like a trauma. And like I think that's like a really key word, I think, with it.
Trauma.
It's trauma.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that you've been through, like, like that, everyone has their own trauma.
What is trauma? Like, I have a general ideology of it, but what is it? Like, you're a fucking expert. So, like, for people listening, like, because the word trauma, it's a big word.
Yeah, I think...
So when you say, like, traumatic, you go, oh, well, what I've been through is not traumatic. But it's
your
trauma.
Yeah,
it's your trauma. Like, it's... Don't compare it.
I guess, like, I wouldn't know how to, like, define it, I guess, but it's editing that has made you feel some kind of way in a negative connotation. Like, about the situation or yourself, I guess. Like, I'd have to properly like sit and think. But
what I mean is like
when
people go on about like PTSD, like people coming, for example, people coming back from like services, like the armed services and stuff like the army, the navy, whatever, and they suffer from PTSD.
People class that as trauma.
Post-traumatic.
Yes.
And then people go, well, if that's traumatic, I've not been through trauma.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you fucking witnessed domestic abuse when you was younger, that's fucking traumatic.
Yeah.
If you used to get bullied as a kid, it's traumatic.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their own level of trauma. Do you know what I mean? So
I guess it's that there's different levels to it. It's
different
all
levels
under that same bubble.
But it doesn't add or take away from yours, does it? Like everyone deals with their own trauma. Do you know what I mean? And with that, that's kind of like one thing. This is one thing I've been asking. I might just ask it all my guests, to be honest with you. But like, for the guy who is Harry at the age of 23, 2 years ago, in a negative place, wrestling with his fucking brain, and it was 24/7, and you hadn't made a start and stuff. What would you say now if Harry at the age of 23 was on the end of this camera? Like, what would you say to him about getting started and how to work on himself? Like, what is the advice you'd give to someone who's in that position?
Having a bit of like, I guess, like belief in yourself that you can do it.
Yeah.
Because it was always just this thing of like, you can't do it, that's it.
Yeah.
You can't do it. You've never done it. It's new. It's scary. You're not going to do it. Why try?
Yeah.
You're going to look like a dickhead.
Yeah.
Like I was too worried about
what other people thought.
Yeah, definitely. That was a
Isn't that a
massive
huge barrier, that?
But it was weird though, because I wasn't like, I'm a hell of a lot more active on social media and stuff now, and the amount of shit I put out that is just shit.
Yeah.
And just random bollocks, and like the op I had last year, I'm not going to delve too much into it, obviously, but I even documented that.
Basically,
I would never
Harry fixed his dick.
have spoke about that.
Harry fixed his dick last year, basically.
Harry broke
We're not
his
bringing
dick.
that up on this podcast.
He broke it and then fixed it.
He broke it and fixed it, and now it works again. Did you not know about this story?
Oh,
No.
It's quality.
Yeah.
quality. I'll go into it. We'll go into it if you want. But
No, mate, listen. How long have we been going, Chris?
40. Not long enough.
Have we not? 45 minutes. Right, we've got it. We've got time here. Go on. Right, ladies and gentlemen, get yourselves ready for Harry's dick.
Oh, you're gonna love this one. Right, where am I starting?
Just give us an overview.
I'll wrap it up, obviously, but like...
We don't have to tell us how you did it.
No, right, yeah, okay.
That's the best part. Give us a brief overview of how you did it, lad.
Right, I'm not gonna like...
Right, so before we start here, how the fuck have we gone from mental health to him breaking his dick? Class. Right,
it's the good thing about our relationship, Jay.
Fuck me,
transparent,
mate.
like we were saying before.
We're back to normal now. We're back to being unprofessional.
Oh,
come on.
Yeah,
go on. Do you want it all, Chris?
Do you actually not know?
Why would he know?
I've told that personally.
Why would he know?
I thought you'd have watched my stories on that, you bastard.
He did document it on his story, to be honest. Like, lad, fair play, because I'd have kept it to myself. But so come on.
So yeah, that was like a weird one though, because I was like, that was like a bit of a traumatic thing for me, obviously.
Don't try and link it back up now. Give us the juicy details.
But it was, and that's why I was like, you know what? I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to speak about it a bit, because I didn't know that this could happen. So
I can't believe we're talking about
this. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and be like, I'm going to say it how it was.
Please do.
So like,
it's as hard.
Yeah.
Go into too much detail. Go into well too much. Make people turn this podcast off. It's going to be that disgusting.
This is going to get the lads that listen to this going to be crossing the legs, squinting, and going, fucking didn't need to know that as.
People in the car going, oh, fucking hell, turn this off.
Jesus. I was listening to that with my mum, you bastard. So, slept with a girl.
This is going to be great.
And
this is going to be so good.
And then I noticed, like, the next day and a couple of days after that, like, my penis hadn't gone back to the way it was in regards to like I had foreskin. Spoiler alert, I don't anymore.
But we'll get to that bit.
It had basically, I didn't know it at the time, but it had got stuck, like retracted back. And this sounds so stupid to say. I kind of wish I'd have took pictures of it, because you wouldn't believe that. I can't put it into words. I can't put it into words.
This is what it looked like.
If I had the pictures, I'd get you to put it on the video of this.
Yeah, we'll for all the visual listeners, we'll put a picture on this. We won't. We will not put it. That is not going to pass YouTube screening. Fucking hell.
But yeah, it swelled up like incredibly bad and was like obviously very sensitive, because it was kind of like the doctor in the end was like, it's basically like an exposed nerve. It wasn't meant to be exposed. It's meant to go back and be covered, and that was that. But it didn't go back naturally, and I had missed the window of putting it back manually myself.
Manually?
Yeah, which, you know,
the choice of words is outstanding here.
By the way, you don't get taught that in sex ed. That can get fucking stuck, and you have to fix it.
That's how you fix it.
That's the only thing you hear is about snapping your banjo, and that's it.
Oh my God.
So anyway, the week goes by, and I'm like, I'm in hell. It was the worst week ever. Luckily, it wasn't when we were in prep run.
Do you remember though what you told me? And then you kept going, this operation. In the end, I went, what the fuck is this operation?
Yeah.
Like,
I think I told you roughly about it, but I didn't tell you what it was.
Imagine like navigating someone through a prep with a snap banjo, Chris. That's what I had to do. If that's not like one to put on your coaching resume, I don't know what is.
Yeah, we navigated that well. But I was assuming that it would have happened very quickly, because obviously went to A&E. It got to the point where I had to go to the GP. GP took one look at it and was like, There's a medical name for it. I can't remember it. I'm not going to try and butcher it. I don't have a clue what it is.
That's fine, yeah.
Literally looked at it and went, oh yeah, it's this. It's dead commented it and like dead chill, like it was not. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I've never heard of this in my life. What do you mean it's dead common? I was like, I don't know any lad ever that this has happened to. How is it common? I was like, yeah, but it's got to the point where I can't fix it. You need to go to A&E. It's like, oh.
Oh my
I work
God.
in the hospital that
so
I had to go to.
Oh no!
So like,
no,
I don't know a lot of the
God.
A&E department, but there's probably one or two of them that would see me and go, "Oh, I know you."
Imagine doing that, and then like
horrible.
everyone who you know is
like,
sat there knowing what's gone on.
Terrible.
Wow.
So waiting in A&E for a bit, got it sorted.
Sorry, what did you say to him? Did you just come straight out and go?
Who the
broke me dick here, like, or like, what did you say to
the
him?
consult, like
the people who you knew at the A&E?
Oh no, so I don't like know them, but like in passing in work, you know, they recognise each other. So luckily I didn't.
Oh,
there was
God.
no one on that I properly knew. But yeah,
my God.
like in the hospital, everyone just kind of knows each other in a way, but you don't. But luckily there was no one on. Got through, and then the consultant fixed it, and like I said, manually it was I'd give me any scenario ever, give me fucking Tyson in his prime, and I'd let him clean hook me jaw for an hour.
Over that?
Rather than going through that again. And it must have lasted about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It felt like it went on for about 3 days.
Oh, no.
I was like shaking, crying, wanted to throw up, like nearly passed out. Horrendous. He was on about, got to the point where it was like, he was trying for a while and he was like, Ed, it's not happening this. He was like, you could see I've got a very high pain tolerance, and I was at my absolute limit. And he was like, do you want me to give you an injection to numb it, but it's going to have to be right in the end of your penis.
Oh my goodness,
and I was like, no, I don't
I
want
wish I was recording him now. He's falling to bits behind this camera right now. I wish there was a camera for him behind the camera.
So grim. I was like, no, don't want it. It was going on and on and on, and I was like fucking like nails in the bed, and I went, give me the fucking injection, and he got it as I said it, and I was like, the level of relief, it was like, he was like, I'm gonna give you like 10 minutes. He's like, I'll be back in 10 minutes. He was like, don't stand up, just try and chill. Like that was hard work. Come back through, and he was like, oh, it's not as bad as what I thought it was, because it looked like it was going to be like a bit of damage. There could have been nerve damage if it went on longer. And went through all of like the worst case scenarios. It was like, yeah, if you'd have left it for like another week. So
go on, what was the worst case?
Amputation.
Was it really? So like you just have to,
amputation.
Imagine.
And he said that before he'd fixed it, and I was like, you fucking what? And he was like, no.
So that means that you wouldn't have one?
I'd have lost it. It was just been a set of balls. But yeah, he went through that before he'd sorted it, and I was like, mate, you could have told me that
just
afterwards.
A set of swingers on their own, nothing else.
Honestly.
Oh, mate, that'd be horrible, that would it? That'd be disgusting.
He come back in and then was like, yeah, it wasn't too bad, but I'd recommend that you get circumcised, because it was one of those things where it's like, because it's happened once, the likelihood of it happening again has increased, and I was like, I am not risking that ever again. That was horrendous. But then I had to wait, like, it was like...
Bro, I'm in pain listening to this.
It was horrendous, bro.
Are you not, like, getting spasms here? Oh, my... Every lad listening to this is in pain.
Horrible.
Every woman's probably going to be, like, going laughing, funny, as if, like, he's... Try childbirth, that's worse. Do you know what I mean? But, like, every lad is, like, dying listening to this. So what's... Go on, carry on.
So he come through about that and was like, yeah, he was like, oh, it'll be a little while before the op, but he was like, you happy to get it? Signed all the documents. I was like, yeah, sound. And then obviously I'd been in A&E all day. Got home and my mum was like, where have you been? And I was
you didn't tell her?
No, so I didn't tell her what had happened, but I was like, I'm just letting you know. I've been to A&E, I'm fine, but I'm going to have an op at some point across the year.
Does she know now?
Yeah. She knows now.
This story is...
My mum's a nurse.
This story is...
There's layers.
It's unfolding. It's unfolding.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
So how did? Oh, right. We're gonna have to like kind of like try and wrap this up soon. But mate, how did you tell your mum? Did she find out? Or did she find out and go, "What's this about your penis, Harry?" Or did you like what went on? What went on? What? Oh my! I can't believe we're at this stage of this podcast here.
Mad, innit?
This is professional for 30 minutes.
Yeah, I'll take that. 30 minutes is good.
Yeah, it's 30 minutes longer than normal, but fuck me, mate.
But yeah, I come home that day and was just like, yeah, I'm just letting you know I'm going to have an op at some point this year. Like, I don't know when. Like, I'm fine, everything's sorted. And she was a bit like, what have you had done? Yeah. And I was like, I was just like, I didn't tell her about what had happened and all that, but I was like, I'm going to have to get circumcised. And my mum's a nurse, and she was just like, all right, okay. And she was like, I'm not going to, she didn't press that. I was like, thank God, because I didn't want to tell her, but I was like, I can't not tell her. I still live at home. I was like, I can't not tell her I've got to go and have this op, because when I have it, I'm going to be in a fucking state.
Wow.
But yeah, fast forward to slap bang in the middle of prep, because we were praying it was going to be before then. I think I told you by that time, hadn't I? But
this is bringing back. We were talking about PTSD earlier.
This is bringing back.
this is PTSD for me. I'm going, fucking mate, this was such a nightmare.
As I say, to be fair, a credit to you of how like you helped.
I should put this in my Instagram bio, shouldn't I?
Absolutely.
I should put this. So for any kids listening, practice safe sex. Because otherwise you're going to end up like Harry. And that is not it's not a bad thing because he's a great guy, but
that is not
you don't want to break your dick.
That is not it. Oh, man.
You don't want to break your dick all for a goose. Do you know what I mean? No one wants that. Jesus Christ.
Terrible.
Right, let's please get back to what where was we even up to here?
I can't even remember.
I think, do you know what? I don't get how this has gone so wrong because I said to you, give someone advice who wants to start on a fitness journey. And the next thing you know, it's like, yeah, so I was on the operating table. Where the fuck has this come from? Mate, that is so... Oh. But yeah, I remember, Chris, he couldn't train legs. Couldn't train legs for weeks.
For like the last 6 weeks of prep, yeah.
So Joe, when his legs like looked good, lad, he didn't train legs for like 6 weeks. Because he couldn't.
That's why I was paranoid about my legs though, because the morning of the shooting, yours, like, had a look at me and I was like, you know, I just think you look. I was like, yeah, I think I look all right, but I think my legs were better last year. And I think you literally went, lad, shut the fuck up. You were like, shut the fuck up now. And I was like, but I've not trained him. He was like, shut the fuck up. You look better.
Lad, both photo shoot preps we've done, he had COVID. Back when it was fashionable to have COVID, like years ago, for all these attention seekers now. Back when it was like cool to have COVID and he was down with the kids. He got COVID in his false photo shoot prep. And then all of a sudden he had a fucking sensitive helmet like halfway through the prep this time. Couldn't train legs for fucking 6 weeks. Next thing you know, like we're just trying to work around this whole predicament. Do we even come back to what we were talking about here, or do we just segue?
I think we segue.
How long have we been going? 55. Harry, I think we wrap it up there, mate, because
we'll
no matter what we say here, this is a crescendo. This is the definition of a crescendo. This is such an emphatic ending. Like, we are literally going to take it straight. But anyway, let's get back to talk professional. So, mate, thank you so much for taking the time to come on, not only come on, but detail what has been the most painful audio experience for me, and also the most painful experience for you. But thank you for taking your time to come on, mate.
I enjoyed
you enjoyed yourself?
I have. You know what, mate? I really have, actually.
This has been a cracking episode,
I didn't know what we'd talk about. I think, like, you messaged earlier in the week, was like, do you want to come on the pod? I was like, absolutely. And I was kind of like, oh, should I ask him about
mate,
what? I was like, you know what? No, I'd rather it just be natural than
just... Mate, how the fuck would we format getting your dick in this conversation? How would we ever, like, listen, I
want you to talk a bit about mental health, what you've been through, your dick.
We're gonna go through girls being your DMs, your coaching career, your dick, and your photo shoot prep. How the fuck would we navigate those tricky waters?
It's like my personality at the minute, lad.
It is, mate. Yeah,
that's my personality
all over the place. But no, that's what, like I say, it's people like a lot of people when they do podcasts, it's like, oh, we'll get some questions across. Just fucking come on and talk some shit and just see what happens. Do you know what I mean? People will love listening to this.
Absolutely.
So, mate, thank you very much for coming on. It's been an absolute blast. What are we on there? 55 minutes? 56. Absolute banger. Mate, thank you very much. I hope you all enjoyed listening to that story as much as I fucking hated going through it. I'll see you all for the next episode. Thank you for listening.